Hi guys, I am here with just a quick video on how to use the pendulum and the pendulum mat that came with your March Nova Luna box. So you can use the pendulum without the pendulum mat, it's totally up to you. I tend to not use the mat, but the mat is good if you're just starting out or you want a more visual assistance maybe. And I'll walk you through how to use the pendulum with the mat and then without. So basically, when you get your pendulum, you want to spend some time with it. It's like any gemstone you're working with. You want to definitely spend time with it. You could, if you wanted to, you could definitely charge it under the full moon. You know, some people like to carry it with them or sleep with it, you know, put it under their pillow, that kind of thing. It's totally up to you how you want to basically become friends with it, but you definitely want to do that. And if you're using the mat, basically what you would do, if you wanted to, you could kind of start out for your first time using it with the mat, kind of talking to the pendulum and telling it, this is no, this is maybe, this is yes, this will not answer, this is no, this is try again, this is yes, and this is rephrased. And you could do that a few times, go through it, just to kind of set clear like boundaries or guidance. Just communicate with the pendulum that this is where you want it to go for these choices. And what you would do is you would frame a question in your mind that could have one of these answers, and you would ask it. And then the other thing you can do to confirm that you and your pendulum are, you know, communicating is you could hold it in the center like this. I'll give it a moment to kind of calm down because I've been talking with my hands. And you can say, show me no. And you can see how it starts to swing towards no. Show me yes. And you can see there how it changed direction. And that's kind of the same concept without the mat. I'm going to turn it over just so it gives you a black surface so you can see. But if you want to use the pendulum without the mat, which is what I do, you would, since you don't have a mat to be like, okay, this way is no, this way is yes, what you want to do when you first start using it, and even occasionally just to check in, make sure you're still kind of on the same wavelength, is you just want to hold it and let it kind of settle. And then you say it, show me no. And see, for me, that's a diagonal line right there. And then you can tell it to stop. And then say, show me yes. And that's a horizontal line. And so all pendulums really are different in the way they communicate yes and no. And if you're not using a mat, those are really the two answers you can get is yes and no. So if you're not using a mat, you'd want to frame your question so it's a yes or no question. So it generally needs to be very specific. Another trick for the pendulums, sometimes people ask me, you know, what do I use them for? Where do I keep them? I have 3. I keep one in my purse, so I always have it with me, because, and to be honest, I kind of use that one for maybe somewhat trivial questions to help me kind of check into my body, such as, do I want to go by the grocery store and pick chicken up for dinner? because that's actually a very good way if you're working with food and listening to your body and figuring out what your body wants as fuel and food, is you can use a pendulum to ask very simple yes or no questions of, you can even hold the food item if you have it in one hand and have the pendulum in the other, and say, do I want eggs for breakfast? And that's actually a really good way to like develop your intuition and when it comes to like listening to your body for a very routine everyday thing. So I have one pendulum in my car. Well, kind of car purse. The purse is so I have it with me when I'm in my car. I just keep it in a little velvet pouch. I have a pendulum on my main altar, and then I have a pendulum in my my studio, my office space. And so, if ever I'm coming up to a question where I'm just really having a hard time, kind of really getting away from the noise and the chatter, and I really want to listen to my intuition, and I need help doing that, I'll ask my pendulum a very specific yes or no question. Should I take this opportunity? Should I make this new design? Should I mean, it could even be, should I include this item in the next Nova Luna box? So I hope that was helpful. I just wanted to give you a brief overview because I know some of you had mentioned to me that you never had a pendulum before, or you had questions about how to use it. So that's how I use it. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. I'd be more than happy to help. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.